In Revelations 12:11, it says they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. When we hear the word testimony, we often think about standing in front of a church and telling our story. But a testimony is simply sharing what God has done in your life. What's interesting about this verse is that their testimony wasn't separate from what Christ had done. It was evidence of it. They overcame by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. Their story pointed people back to Jesus. Never underestimate the power of your testimony. You may think your story isn't dramatic enough or that nobody wants to hear it, but your testimony is proof of God's faithfulness. It's evidence that He still saves, He still restores, and still answers prayer. He still changes lives. Our testimony was never meant to stay inside the walls of the church. Oh, that we would be so excited about the change God has brought into our lives that we would share it with everyone that we meet. Not to brag about how we changed, but to brag about how God has changed us. Someone around you may need to hear what God has done in your life, not because you're special, but because God is. So don't be afraid to share your testimony. You never know how God might use your story to encourage someone else in their faith today, or even bring them to salvation.